I'm asking myself a question right now. How do you bring your gifts and talents to the diversity and inclusion space? You see, in less than an hour, I will be joining the revival and spending time with a number of individuals who committed themselves to really taking on race and racial relations in America and really working on their journey, their understanding, their integration, their education, and their actions as it relates to that. And the question in my mind comes up of like how do you actually bring the specific question in my mind was how do I bring coaching to the diversity and inclusion space? And it was this open question for me. And I'm realizing now that I'm about to go and answer that question. I'm realizing now that it isn't the answer to the question I needed in advance. It was actually the question itself that was the most valuable. It's the question itself that opened the opportunities for me to be in, like, to be able to take this on and start to find and discover. And so I was bringing up, just really got a chance to talk to my coach, Rich Liffin, and he challenged me, opened up a door for me to walk through around a year of questions. And I'm taking this on. And for me, the year of questions is something that really excites me. A whole year of dedicating myself to a practice. I know that by the end of the time of it, I will be, I don't know, it's like I won't even recognize where I was beforehand. I think about the power of the questions that I have that will be coming from me. Think about the level of freedom that comes by deciding to commit to a year of this year. No one question, 365 questions. It's a lot and not that much at all. And no one question is going to make or break me. No one question is going to change everyone's lives or even just change my life. But I think the consistent practice of asking questions really is it's something I'm really very excited about. And it's really interesting too, as I'm saying this is not going to be a long video, but as I'm saying this here, I'm realizing some distinctions in terms of like what makes a question really powerful for me. And I'm excited to be able to start to draw out the power in the questions. So one of my beliefs is that questions are more powerful than answers. It's a reason why you haven't seen me come on very often and tell people what to do. I just find answers to be more very disempowering because it assumes that it's like I have the answer and I'm passing it down to you. And rather than empowering you to lean into and have the courage to live out whatever answer you believe is right for you. And so there's just a strong belief I have around the power of questions. And it's been very interesting in every conversation that I've had where I've been exploring how do I show up as a thought leader going forward? How do I really create my impact right now? At some point, at some point, it gets to the point of like, hey, I really don't know what's coming next, and I'm still building out my craft. I'm blazing my trail, right? Realistically, I am a trailblazer myself. I'm trying to figure out something that is a movement right now and will become a larger movement later. It will be a methodology in the future. I know that people will write books about the things that I'm doing right now, which is an interesting place to be. But I'm in the process of figuring it out, and I'm choosing to make the research lab my life, so we can actually continue to move forward right now and see what works. In the future, I'll be able to come back and tell you whatever worked. But right now, this is the process of exploration and really challenging the status quo and pushing the boundaries on what we think is possible, what I think is possible. And so I get very excited about the the power of questions. One of the things I also am finding right now in terms of a distinction, I just want to capture right now. It'd be really interesting to come back in 366 days and see like what I've learned about questions, where my questions even lie, and what's grown from there. But one of the distinctions that come up is there's just powerful questions, like just asking a question worth answering. Um, and then there's also living into the question. So living into the question for me is distinct from just answering the question. The question that I posed today was how do I bring my gifts and talents into the diversity and inclusion space? The thing that excites me is not having the answer. Okay, I'm gonna go and do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna go talk on this thing for 30 minutes. I'm going to, it's not that. It's it's the element of being open to having that question in the back of my mind. Well, how do I bring my gifts to the diversity and inclusion space? Well, let me go to that space and then choose to bring my gifts and see what comes out of it. And I think that's the element of actually living into the question, such that like the question almost pulls you forward and pulls me forward. So that's the question I'm living into right now. For the next 365 days, I'm focused on asking questions, and I'm bringing this out here as a tool for you as a trailblazer. I'm bringing this out here as a tool for you as someone who is pioneering and going forward and trying out new things and stepping into new elements and levels of leadership that could really support you and others. And allowing just, I guess the tool for me in this moment is a tool of powerful questions. Questions are more powerful than answers. And I'm going to be living into those questions and several different questions over the next 365 days. You'll get invitations to come join me for some of them. Some of them I am going to be spending my own time and just having my own personal reflection. A lot of them are coming into my Trailblazer Collective, which is a curated peer group of globally minded, socially conscious, and impact driven individuals and leaders who are asking themselves questions that most other people aren't really able to entertain or willing to entertain. And I what I'm realizing is that for me, it's the path. It's the path to creating the future. The path, my part of my vehicle of change is not just conversations, but conversations with really powerful questions that allow us to move forward. Cool. That's it. This is a bit that I wanted to share with you here for my own personal journey. I'm also exploring this question of how do you bring your gifts and talents into the diversity and inclusion space. I'm asking these questions publicly because this is today I feel like it. A, and B, I want to open up some questions that you can live into. And if diversity and inclusion isn't your space, like I, just substitute that section with a space that feels really important to you. How do you bring your gifts and talents to the health and wellness space? How do you bring your gifts and talents to a challenge or area within your organization? How do you bring your gifts and talents into your leadership? Whatever it is, make that part real for you. For me right now, the question is around diversity and inclusion. I'm going to end this video here because I get a chance to go and start answering that question and really be able to live into that question as a part of the revival, which is taking place. It's taking place in just an hour. So I'm looking forward to being able to tell you the answers to these questions, perhaps 365 days from now. But for now, I'm going to practice asking questions, practice asking better and better, more and more powerful questions, practice and asking more confronting questions of myself and others, and allowing the questions to guide the future as opposed to the answers. Because I'll tell you right now, if I have the answer to it already, I haven't created anything different than what already exists. And I'm about creating something that is distinct from the past. All right. Let me know what's on your mind. What are your questions? We'll continue on from here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, Oniyama here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then go ahead and leave one of your insights from today's video in the comments below. If you're looking to take this deeper, you can go and watch another video, or you can go to niyama.com/tribe to get exclusive invitation to our tribe member only events. I'll see you soon.